Hi, welcome to Syndy's Kitchen. Today we're going to talk about icing some cookies. Two techniques, we're going to give it a try. One is a basic flooding technique, and the next one is wet on wet. The kind of icing I like to use is called a royal icing. Martha Stewart thinks you should have real egg whites, but you can also buy something called meringue powder at Michael's. It's like $8 or $10. So I think a smarter idea is just to use basic icing sugar and then use a sifter or sieve to get out all the lumps. Just basic icing sugar and a touch of milk. That's all I use. If you want to put flavoring in it, I suggest you use something like peppermint or almond flavoring, because if you use vanilla, it gives your icing kind of a beige or ivory look to it, and it isn't as pure white, kind of that snow look that you want to have at Christmas. So if you want to add flavoring, go ahead. The cookies we're using today are a gingerbread cookie, like a molasses kind of cookie, but I like to add a little bit of orange juice and orange zest. Oh, take a spoon and get rid of the last bit of lumps if you want in your sieve. Now you'll see that your icing sugar looks like snow. No lumps at all. Anyways, I was talking about the gingerbread cookies, and they look a lot lighter brown than your regular gingerbread cookies because of the orange zest and orange juice. But they're tastier. Now add a touch of milk, which isn't in the fridge. Just add a little touch. You could use water too if you wanted to. Any kind of liquid would be fine. I've heard people using coffee when they want it to be a darker color. That would make a really nice mocha icing with chocolate. So after you've added your fluid in, stir it up nice and smooth. And you're going to have to guess on the consistency, because you really need it to be thick enough to stay on the cookie and thin enough to flood. So you just add like 5 milliliters at a time. You don't want to go crazy, but you want it to be, that's too thick. Coming off the spatula, too thick. Another 5 mils. Hopefully it will be thin enough. Now let's talk about food coloring. So this year I splurged and I bought some food coloring at Michael's. This is what I always used to use. But this food coloring at Michael's was $32, but you use the 40% off coupon. And honestly, it's totally worth it. It comes with 8 colors, and the crimson is amazing. So this one, the black one, that is fantastic too, because if you want to do snowman hats or arms or penguins, it's impossible to get black out of this. But 1 drop of that, fantastic. And the green that you see on this cookie here, that is 1 drop of blue and 2 drops of yellow. So worth the investment for sure. So 2 things that I can show you today. One is this little squirt bottle, $2.14 for 2 at Walmart. And the simpler method is a little sandwich bag. Open it up, put it down a juice glass, water glass, and fold it around the outsides of that glass. And then it's ready for your icing. I think I'm gonna add pink. I know that doesn't sound like a Christmas color. The crimson and the red might be better choices, but I've never tried this pink, so I wanna give it a go. I wanna see what it looks like. With the green and the blue, I think it'll be marvelous for mittens, bells, Christmas sweaters, snowflakes. So let's see what it looks like. 1 drop of pink, and we'll probably get a really nice bright pink color. Look at that, beautiful. Now if you wanted it more pastel, you would just add some more white icing sugar, and you would get a lighter pink pastel color. But I like the bright pink. It would look good for scarves on your snowman cookies too. Be adorable. So spatula into your bag, just like that. And then it will be ready for icing. Tip, immediately put it in water. Icing's like solid glue, which is why people use royal icing for gingerbread houses, because man, it's good. All right, so that one's ready to go. Now I have some previously done that I want to show you. First of all, the cuff on the mitten is adorable. And if you have a stocking cookie cutter, oh, that's so cute too, to use the cuff and the toe and the sock. It's really cute. So we're going to try, oh, I like to keep these in a drinking glass upside down because then it's ready to go for you. So here's the flooding technique. Make an outline of your cuff all the way around, just on the edge of your cookie, not too close to the edge, just on the edge. And then this is what we learned at the Sweet Impressions Bakery in Winnipeg, was to do a racetrack all the way around your flooded fence or dam that you make for a border. It keeps all the icing in and it makes it look perfect and smooth. When you're finished your racetrack, you're gonna see all these extra holes here and think, what the heck? That doesn't look like a finished cookie. So then you take your cookie and tap it, smack it, smooth it out. Then take a toothpick or scribe or skewer and fill in all those extra holes that you have with your toothpick. And don't worry if it doesn't look perfect, because you're gonna cover this cuff. So once all the holes are filled in, tap it again. It looks so much better. For this cuff here, I dipped it in these white sprinkles, just plain old white sprinkles. But for today's cuff, I think we will try blue. I have a mix of blue sprinkles and white crystals here that I think will make a really cute cuff for a mitten. How does that look? Maybe take a few of these extra ones off here. Now, doesn't that look furry? Very cute. So I'm going to use the blue for the wet on wet. I've snipped a little hole in this blue one already. And so I will do the flooding technique first. Just flood the border of my cookie, not quite to the edge, but near the edge. All the way around. You still want to see a little bit of that gingerbread. And then just racetrack it around. See that nice shine on the royal icing? Supposedly, if you use meringue powder as well as icing sugar, it gives it a beautiful shine. But I think that just icing sugar and milk, man, looks great. Looks nice and shiny and everybody loves it, so you don't have to use meringue powder. Just use icing sugar and you're covered. I love sprinkles, so I have all different kinds. You can see I missed a lot here, so I'm just gonna go over that a bit. Okay, now I'll take my toothpick or skewer, fill in all those holes, and then I'll just tap it up and down against the table and that will smooth it all out, I hope. Just take by the edges. Now, have a look. My son Graham's my videographer, thanks G. So that is very cute, and now it's ready for the wet on wet. So, what I will do is I will take my white, because I want it to match the icing that's under the cuff, and I'll make some stripes about 1 centimeter or so apart all across the mitten while the flooded blue is still wet. That's why it's called wet on wet. Now see what I did there? It was too thin right there, so I'm going to go back and add some more. Doesn't have to be perfect. And right along the tip. There. Can you get a close-up of that, G? Now I'm going to take my pink, snip the little end, so now it acts just like the, no, need a better hole. It's going to act just like the squeeze bottle and make a pink line between them. Just trying to squeeze it consistently so it looks like the white lines. Pretty similar. Now you can use any color combo you want. I think I'm going to add a pink one down here too. There, all striped up. Store it in the drinking glass. It's ready for your next cookie. Now here's the fun part. To make it look like a knitted mitten, it's a feathering technique. You just take your toothpick and drag it up through the wet and then drag it down through the wet. As close as you want to each other, half a centimeter apart or so. One way and then the other. Gives it that cute feathering technique, makes it look like a knitted mitten. It should look fantastic on Christmas sweater cookies or Christmas pajama cookies. There, adorable. Now I don't like that the cup doesn't have any pink in it, so I think I'm just going to add a few polka dots of pink. Just to give it some more pink. Now those polka dots ended up with the tail, some of them. So I'm going to remove that tail with my toothpick so that they just look like dots. There you go. Flooding and wet on wet. Now if you want to use any of the silver dragees or other sprinkles, like I've got these super cute snowman ones, my tip is to use a set of tweezers because then it's easier to pick them up to put them on the icing. I'm going to finish this one off here for you, showing you how the flooding works. Sometimes you can let something dry and then you can go over it to make it look like it's 3D, as if it was snow. Or you could do it on a Santa face to make it look like a beard. Once your icing's dry, you can redo the icing and it looks fantastic. Like a mustache, beard, or cheeks or whatever. And I'm going to also flood the square here that looks like the hook for the ball. Again, using my toothpick to get the holes right to the edges there, wanting it to touch the blue. Smack it down. Looks great. I'm going to add a titch more blue for wet on wet. Look. Oh, I don't think it looks quite balanced, so I'm going to add some more blue on this side. There we go. I hope you've enjoyed making these cookies. I hope you make lots yourself. Bye for now. Thanks for coming to Syndy's Kitchen.